Hello out to all you wonderful people. This is Andre the Game Idea Guy. Thank you once again for lending me your time and your ear, listening into another Gamer's Thoughts discussion. And this is an interesting thing. I'm seeing that a lot of people are probably noticing the same pattern, and it's that Nintendo has been working on either remasters and remakes of certain games, and then they shadow drop them during the direct, the digital copy, to get the impulse buys off of people. Then later drop the physical for those who are patient enough to wait. Now, I'm guessing there's probably going to be at least 2, maybe 3 more directs coming from Nintendo this year, at least ones that are bigger. But if they keep this up, I'm wondering what other games are going to be shadow dropped like that. Like, they did it with Metroid Prime Remastered. Then they did it with Pikmin 1 and 2. Like, are you guys... And part of me thinks, I swear, part of me believes that they are going to do this with freaking Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. And if they do Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, they're also going to throw in the Master Quest version of Ocarina of Time. I so think that they're going to do that. It's sitting there, and I'm sitting here like, what are y'all doing? Like, y'all keep doing this and catching people off guard, and then people, while they're on the direct with their Switches in hand, they're jumping right to the eShop trying to purchase this, and it's causing a clog up like it normally does. But it's kind of interesting that they keep doing that. So I'm like, okay, my first thought is I have a feeling the Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask is going to happen, but there's also the potential that since they've worked with Capcom before, and Capcom is actually on a roll right now with some decent games, what if they go ahead and redo the Oracle games in the same style as Link's Awakening, since those games originally on Game Boy Color were the same style as Link's Awakening anyway? So that would actually be really interesting for them to do, since that would be a remake, remaster, remake, and they've already done it with Link's Awakening, so the engine is there, the style is there. All they'd have to do is take that and rework what they have from the Oracle games and put those out, sneak drop them on people. That would be the route I would take if I was trying to do something completely unexpected that nobody was waiting for, nobody knew was coming. So that's the thing that's sitting with me. I got the curiosity for. I was like, what else are y'all going to do? But does this also mean that older games that people have been wanting to see are going to be making a comeback? Like, are we potentially going to see Geist come back, or maybe, Eternal Darkness? Are those games going to make a return? Because Nintendo does keep renewing the licensing, and I am kind of questioning if that's going to happen. But I don't know. I really don't know for sure. And then they already have a decent lineup, and especially throwing in the newer games that everybody was speculating there's nothing for Nintendo after the release of Pikmin 4. Well, you just got told there was stuff for release by Nintendo after Pikmin 4. So everybody can kind of get off of the bandwagon of sitting there saying, well, Nintendo doesn't have anything. But I'm so interested in what games they're going to rework and remake to fill, or what games they already had in motion, I should say. Because we know COVID threw off a lot of stuff. This is why they have so many games dropping almost on top of each other. And we have whole series now that are on the Switch, just the Switch itself, available for you to play from start to finish. So I am so curious. Now my question also is, can they get Xenogears and Xenosaga on the Switch through some sort of, wheeling and dealing? I'm kind of curious if that will happen, since we already know that the majority of Xenoblade is on the Switch. it's just got my mind rolling around with a lot of stuff. Especially since there's the Metal Gear Solid collection coming, which I said should happen. But I also said it should have been the Twin Snakes version of Metal Gear Solid, but they went the PS1 version. And they have the old Metal Gear games on there. Actually, they should have just done all of the 8-bit Metal Gear games and put them on there and just called it a day. Because there are two versions of Metal Gear 2. One is actually canonical, one isn't. But that's a whole other debate for a different day. It's just that they got my mind rolling on a lot of stuff, and I'm sitting here like, oh crap, they got Super Mario RPG back and remastered that. Nobody was truly expecting. I mean, there were a couple rumors floating about it, but nobody truly expected that. Now that puts Chrono Trigger out there for people to think about. A Chrono Trigger remaster might actually happen if Nintendo's working with Square Enix that closely. I mean, ActRaiser already got redone, and I was asking for that for years. Gosh, I'm just sitting here. Now I'm also wondering if like something like EVO is going to be remastered and put out on the Switch. If I remember correctly, that was a game on the SNES where you basically were evolving and creating like life or becoming life and following a set path of evolution. Like, it was a pretty cool concept. Speaking of evolution, there's the Evolution games from Dreamcast, which were on GameCube. Will those also get remastered and put out on the Switch? And potentially shadow drop because Sega's working on another game in that series or something like that? Again, brain is rolling through a bunch of different options. We still could, like, and they're working with Capcom, we could still see like a Strider collection show up. I really would love to see a Strider collection show up. Where you have Strider, then you have the Strider 2 that was on Genesis, which technically isn't Strider 2. The one that was made by US Gold is a subsidiary of Capcom. Then actual Strider 2, which came out on PlayStation at a later date. And then the Strider that came out after that on Xbox 360 and PS3 and PC. Like, my brain is running through a bunch of stuff. Like, what type of deals do they have set in place to get all this stuff to happen? Like, they were so quiet and calm about everything. What other shit are they working on? That's where my brain is. And I know I've repeated that several times, but there's a part of me that's excited, and then there's the part of me that's inquisitive, and those parts are like clashing and combining, and I'm just trying like, okay, what else could they be working on? What other stuff could they be trying to drum up and drag out? And then there's the part of me that wonders if they might be spiteful and go ahead and slip GameCube on his NSO and then put Melee as the first game they put in there. Since we know that the Switch works with the GameCube controller adapter already, it wouldn't be too far of a leap. But then that also makes me think, okay, would they redo F-Zero GX and AX and just combine them into one game? Combine all the tracks into one game and put them out? Put it out with online racing and all that type of stuff? I kind of want to see it. Because there's so many possibilities now that they've literally opened up the floodgates to everybody to say, well, anything that you thought was possible is probably possible now. That's the thing that really stands out to me. Like, anything that you thought was possible is possible now. We told you before maybe it wasn't, but now we're saying maybe. It could potentially happen. We're not going to deny that could happen again. So I'm just like stuck on stupid right this moment. Like, what are y'all doing? That's what I'm like. And then there's a potential chance if they could get Capcom and Tatsunoko to agree, we could see Tatsunoko versus Capcom happen again. Again, I'm on board for all of this. My brain is just working multiple levels, and it's hard to not kind of have like overwhelming, hyper intrusive thoughts on this. That's why as everything's going along, I'm just randomly naming games as they come to mind. Hell, we could get Last Story in Pandora's Tower remade. People have been clamoring for those games to be redone since Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition has come out. So it wouldn't surprise me if they went ahead and said, oh yeah, we won't go ahead and throw those on there. Maybe work with Ubisoft and get Rayman Origins on the Switch. Or did they already do that? I see, like, now I'm questioning whether or not that was already on there. Again, it's so much stuff running through my mind right now. It's hard to just focus on one thing and be like very succinct about that one thing. So I have a lot going on. Hell, Disaster Day of Crisis, which never made its way to the US. I made that video years ago. Now that's a potential chance of it actually happening. And just, there's so much that I'm just like, okay, Nintendo, you guys have opened up you've opened everything up for everybody. Now you have literally put speculation on the table for everything. Which is probably what they wanted, especially knowing they're going into another hardware cycle. And Ubisoft let it slip that there's going to be upgrades for games that are currently on the Switch. Obviously, it probably won't be every game, but a good portion of them, definitely. Especially the more popular titles, I could see them doing it with all of the million sellers at the very least. Which, now I think about it, the Switch has a lot of million sellers, so that is something that they can think about. But that also lets us know that they are going to be still working with the same cartridge format going forward. Because you wouldn't be able to do this if you couldn't support all mediums that the game is available on for the platform you're utilizing. So I am very, very curious as to what they have in store. I mean, I know this Direct wasn't for everybody. It had a lot of stuff I liked in it, but it wasn't for everybody. But it also opened up the floodgates. And I am so ready to see what that means. Because for all we know, they could go back and take a game like Lethal Enforcers and go ahead and have that fully remastered and redone and brought to the Switch and whatever the next platform is. And we know Metroid Prime 4 is coming. I am very certain, as discussed with Jay and everybody else from the Winging It crew, that's going to be a cross-gen game. And it's probably going to be one of the first games that they show off that will run on the Switch, run at a decent pace on the Switch. And then you put it in the successor, and it will be upgraded visually and have a better frame rate. I have a feeling that that's going to be the first one that they use to show that off. They're going to show it on the Switch, be like, oh, yo, remember how Metroid Prime Remastered looked? Well, this looks the same on the current Switch. But then, when you slip it into the next platform, these upgrades happen. I am very, very curious now. My brain is just going. And it's going to be going for some time. Because they opened up the floodgates. And anybody listening to me, you can tell I am excited about that. I am super excited about that. The only thing I wish that they would do, two things. Bring back Miiverse and restore the original look for the Miis and make games with that. And then also third, make a Nintendo Sports Studio specifically for Nintendo sports-based games. All that's possible now, though. I'm just saying, all of those things are possibilities. I'm not going to say they're all going to happen, but they are possibilities. They are definite possibilities. And I am very interested in seeing how everything plays out, especially over the next 9 to 10 months. They are brewing something that they are going to drop on everybody. I have that distinct feeling. So, anybody that's listening, the date of this recording is June 22nd. So that anybody listening hears this, the date of this recording is June 22nd. It'll probably post to social media the day afterwards. Well, Spotify will probably have the same day, but everything else will probably have it the day afterwards. But I am super interested in seeing what's going to happen. I don't know exactly how things are going to go, but I am very interested in finding out. But I'm going to stop because I've just been rambling. Anybody else wants to talk about whatever games they think Nintendo may remaster and drop, go ahead, let's run that gambit in the comments on YouTube or on Facebook or on Rumble when this apparently goes up on Rumble. Let's talk about that. Otherwise, thank you guys very much for listening in. Keep your eyes and ears out for more stuff from me, and until the next time, enjoy your games. Peace out, everybody. Thank you once again. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy, and if you would like to support my efforts in creating content, please look up my book that is currently on Amazon for purchase. That is The Game Idea Guy Presents Gaming Word Search Volume 1. I am currently working on Volume 2, and it would be highly appreciated. That way you could get something for you supporting me. Again, thank you very much. Peace out.